Tonight on Huckabee.
The first thing that came out of my mouth was negative. Everything was bad.
How trips to the Holy Land are helping America's heroes heal from their emotional scars of war.
I think Israel gave me a little spark.
Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Mike Huckabee.
Well, the horrors of war take a toll on our troops. Many come back home injured, physically, emotionally, even spiritually. And according to the VA, 22 veterans commit suicide every day in the United States. Now there's a group called Heroes to Heroes. Their mission is to help veterans heal by taking them on a spiritual journey to Israel. Judy Schaefer is the founder of Heroes to Heroes. Retired Sergeant Charles Hernandez spent 2 years in Iraq with the Army National Guard and says his trip to Israel saved his marriage to his wife, Vionette, and allowed him to reunite with his family. Let's talk to him right now. Judy, so many organizations reach out to veterans. And I'm wondering, you know, because we have these organizations, is that an indication that maybe the VA and the official government entities just aren't doing all they ought to be doing?
This is a big country, and the VA has a huge, huge job. There is no way one organization can handle everything. There are so many aspects to the challenges our veterans have. And as an American, as a mother, it's hard for me to let it all go. I couldn't just let these young men and women who raised their hands to volunteer so my sons could go on with their lives. I couldn't let it go.
Is that how you got started? Was that the motivation for it all?
That was the motivation, and I think as parents and as American parents, my family's intact. My children are able to go to college. They're able to continue with their lives because many young men and women raised their hand. They volunteered. They offered to go. Their families are broken. And I've met some of those mothers. And as a mother, I couldn't say, it's okay that, you know, hey, it's okay, thanks, and walk away.
It's a very interesting concept. You take American heroes and you take them to Israel and introduce them to their Israeli counterparts. And Vionette, I want to begin with you. Your husband came back from Iraq, had really serious difficulty with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
You guys were separated for 3 years. When he first came back, did you know something was wrong?
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't like subtle.
He was a different person when he came back from the war.
What were you afraid of?
I was afraid of him doing something to me or to himself. You know, he was angry all the time, couldn't sleep, bad dreams. And so I, you know, tried my best to comfort him.
Charles, how did you first hear about Heroes to Heroes, and what did you think of it?
It was actually a friend who told me you needed a break. I needed to go out and reach, you know, and I was losing faith that I didn't have anything to really stand on or to connect with. So I got the information, wrote to Judy, and I explained to her my situation. She said, yeah, we should, you should. And when I told her I was going through my wife and family, everything was already broken, you know. I mean, you could be here, but you're not here, and your heart is not here, and everything is hard to connect.
So you knew something was wrong, too. Yeah. You weren't just saying, oh, I'm fine, everything's great.
It was me. Everything was, the first thing that came out of my mouth was negative. Everything was bad. Everything was rude. Everything was a challenge. Everything was not with a thought process, you know. Everything had to be wrong. Everything, I just fought against the world. It was just wrong.
When you got to Israel, what happened? What changed? What impacted you that made things different?
You know, when you go home, you want to be embraced by your loved ones. You want to be embraced by your people. You want to be embraced by those who put you there, respectfully, because there was a job that you did. I'm not Jewish, and I went there, you know, I'm a Catholic, Latino male, going to Israel. This was overwhelming for me. The first thing they did was shalom, welcome, you're home. And to say that to me, it was like, wow, you know, so it just took me to another level. And when someone says, you're home, and when I went home to the States and I didn't get the, how you doing, that took a lot out of me, you know.
Did you come back home a different person when you had made the trip with Heroes to Heroes, made that trip to Israel? When you got back, what was different?
I think the trip was overwhelming for me to accept, to find who I am still, to understand what I'm planning to do, what I want to do, and how I should continue on this path. I think Israel gave me a little spark in me that told me you can do it, you can try. We know you have this, but try to manage it, try to work with it. The people at the rehab, the events, the places, they all gave a helping hand to make sure that I was okay.
That's Valor, your service dog, who's speaking up. He's disappointed that I have not asked him a question.
Probably so. Yes. Probably so.
By the way, Charles, that's one big dog, by the way.
Yes.
I understand part Lab and part Dane?
Yes.
I think there's more Dane than Lab in the dog.
Right now, probably is, yeah.
Vianette, real quickly, just tell me, when Charles came back from Israel, did you sense something was different in him?
Absolutely. He was he communicated better with me. He wasn't as angry. I mean, he still has work, to do, but I want to thank Judy so much for helping my husband because it really is a different life now.
Well, it's a beautiful story, and it's an incredible organization, Heroes to Heroes. You guys are celebrating your first Christmas together this year?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I hope you have a magnificent first Christmas together. And Judy, thanks that you have helped make this a beautiful Christmas for them to be together. You're going to stay with us. And up next, you're going to hear from a veteran who says his trip to the Holy Land saved him from killing himself. The group is called Heroes to Heroes. Its mission is to send vets to the Holy Land and find some peace after the post-traumatic stress that they've endured. Back with the group's founder, Judy Schaefer, and along with Judy, Harrison Manyoma, who served with the U.S. Army for 8 years until combat injuries suffered in Iraq forced him to retire. He says before his trip to Israel in 2012, he was living in darkness. And Greg Cruz Grutter served with the Marines as a scout sniper in both Iraq and Afghanistan. He just returned from Israel less than a month ago. Great to have you guys joining us. Harrison, you went with the second group of Heroes to Heroes back in 2012. You said this group saved your life. Now, that's pretty dramatic. How did they do that?
The thing is that at the time coming back from Iraq, I was feeling depressed. I didn't have anyone to, counter any things that I was going through. Didn't know how to act. I didn't even know what PTSD was. But there was a phone call that was made to me from Team Red, White, and Blue that someone knew from Heroes to Heroes. It was actually August 10th that I got the phone call. And I had just visited VA. I just went to the VA. They gave me some more medication, said, hey, this is what you need to do. And I had told myself, I can't take any more medicine. My faith isn't there anymore. I'm going to do something. It's going to be today. I don't want to be here anymore. And Lord and behold, I got a phone call that same day. I was contemplating. My kids were at school. I was alone at home, and I got the phone call. And they said, Heroes to Heroes wants to send someone from the Houston team, says, hey, would you be willing to go? And I want to thank Judy, Heroes to Heroes, for saving my life and my kid's life.
On the day you were thinking of suicide, Heroes to Heroes called, you ended up in Israel and getting baptized in the Jordan River.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was, thank you. Thank you. It was amazing. Truly amazing.
Greg, you just got back from Israel a month ago, and I think one of the things that's remarkable about Heroes to Heroes, it's not just for Christians, it's not just for Jewish, it's for anybody, but there's a certain connection, I think, in Israel, no matter what a person's faith is, because it's home to really 3 very significant faiths that we know of in Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. But tell me about your experience. You just got back. What did it do for you?
It's tough to put into words, but I think it was life-changing. Growing up as a Catholic, my mom dragged me to church every Saturday, every Sunday, holy days of obligation, and then as I grew up, I kind of got away from that. But then to go back and to be able to stand on the spots that you learned about in school and grew up, and to experience the energy and the positive that was just there, I think I was emotionally hit every day by something at one place or another. It was really moving in so many ways.
And you planted a tree, because that's a very important tradition in Israel, is to plant a tree and reforest the country. When you planted that tree, did you feel like you were saying, there's something here that 20, 30, 50, 100 years from now may still be here that my hands put there?
I was picked on a little bit. I took a GPS with me everywhere I went, and I've got the GPS coordinate of the tree. But the nice thing is the group that was there before us, their trees were already taller and growing strong. And you know, between us and God making it grow, we planted a few that day. And I shared my tree, one of my trees, with one of my Israeli veteran friends that I met over there. And between the two of us, we put a tree down for our fallen warriors and his fallen warriors, and it's going to grow and it's going to be there forever.
Tell me about the connection that you had with the Israeli counterparts. These are, you know, men and women soldiers of the Israeli Defense Forces. How did that impact you? Harrison, you first.
You know, getting the chance to meet them and spending 10 days with these guys completely changed how I viewed the culture there when it comes to Israeli and the military and the pridefulness that they have with each other. It just showed brotherhood, like if we were part of their army and they didn't know us. And I really appreciated that, because these men and women is something that they're doing this. The 2-year service or 4 years or whatever it is that they do, the entire country serves and have served. And it just made us feel like there was a connection, like we're going to be brothers and sisters for the rest of our lives, because we know what it is to be at war. We know what it is to be PTSD or dealing with, you know, darkness or invisible wounds or physical wounds. And it was just amazing. It really connected me to them.
Well, I want to just say to both of you, I'm so glad that you were introduced to Heroes to Heroes. So glad that you were able to go to Israel. I've been between 25 and 30 times myself over the past 40 years. And Judy, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. You've never worn a uniform, but in many ways you too are a hero to reach out and care for these veterans who have served our country and to give them the hope of restoring their faith. I hope people will support Heroes to Heroes and that you'll continue to make this kind of impact on these great Americans just like Harrison and Greg. Thank you so much, all of you.